boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Amanda Serrano calls 2026 her last year in boxing, but wants Gina Carano in mixed martial arts. Unified women's featherweight champion Amanda Serrano said Wednesday that she plans to retire from boxing at the end of the year. However, she is also interested in picking up the MMA gloves one more time to face an MMA legend. Serrano, 37, will defend her boxing titles against Cheyenne Henson on Saturday in the co-main event at MVPW 03 in El Paso, Texas. The card will be headlined by a rematch between Stephanie Hahn and Holly Holm. A 7-division champion, Serrano is in hot pursuit of Christy Martin's knockout record, 32 recorded knockouts, and is aiming to retire from the sport with 50 wins. She recently signed a lifetime deal with MVP where she will transition into the role of chairwoman of women's boxing initiatives upon retirement. I think 2026 will be the last year of my boxing career, Serrano told ESPN. I've been here for 17 years as a pro, with so many ups and downs in the sport. I fought on the biggest platforms, and I am now part of the great MVPW movement. I think it's time for me to hang them up and just continue to work hard for these other women in this amazing sport. But the goal right now is to tie Christy Martin's knockout record. If it doesn't happen on Saturday, I'll keep trying until I get it. Though Serrano is focused on her boxing career, she did have an eye on Most Valuable Promotions' foray into MMA a couple of weeks ago for a card headlined by Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey. Serrano, who is 2-0-1 in her MMA career, said she's got the itch to compete in MMA again while watching the event play out. She said a fight with Carano would entice her to lace the gloves up one more time. If MVP plans to continue with this, just throw me in there for one fight, Serrano said. If the opponent is right, I don't mind going back in there for a little elbows and kicks, with Rousey stating that her MMA career is now over. After her swift submission of Carano, Serrano set her sights on the other women's MMA pioneer that ended a 17-year hiatus from the sport. The metrics for the Rousey versus Carano fight were robust. They were good. And the word is that Netflix was happy, so they might get behind a potential Serrano versus Carano crossover fight. Now, as far as what remains of Amanda's boxing career and her pursuit to match and surpass Christy Martin's current knockout record, we'll see if she can on Saturday. At minimum, I believe she can beat Cheyenne Henson. Knocking her out is something else because Cheyenne has never been knocked out. So we'll see if it happens on Saturday night. But separately, the attached story is that MVP will not have Amanda Serrano to sell fights for them anymore once she steps into that chairwoman role. And it's at this moment that the other girls in the stable, the more established ones, have to step up and fill those shoes. From the time that Most Valuable Promotions was founded in 2021, for the last 5 years, with their backing, Amanda has proven herself a very strong draw for them, to the point they added her to this weekend's card to help sell some tickets. But if she's not going to be boxing anymore, somebody has to fulfill that role. Alicia Baumgartner almost immediately comes to mind because she has several fights that she can have, high-profile ones that would move the needle. The closest one is the Caroline Dubois fight at 135 and a potential Mayer rematch at 147. Alicia's taken a liking to calling herself the new face of boxing. For the last 5 years, Amanda Serrano has been the face of the company. For the women, she's been the face of the sport. If she is now leaving, Alicia has to assume that role. She has to have those fights. There's no two ways about it, because a part of being the face of the company or of the sport is you have to consistently draw eyes to it by fighting in the biggest fights possible against the best opponents possible. That's the way it works. It's not enough to just say it. You have to do it. Amanda's already done it with her 3 fights against Katie Taylor, drawing the most viewership for a women's boxing match in the history of the sport. Now, if she wants to get the same kind of paydays that Amanda got for those fights, she's got to do what Amanda did, and she's got to fight in big fights of her own. She was holding out hope that she could land a Serrano fight, which I never viewed as feasible, because Amanda's retiring. To make those big fights with Katie, Amanda had to move up
from 126 up to 135, whereas Alicia's climb to 135 wouldn't be as long. She's already there at 130. She needs to have that Dubois fight.
That's the takeaway here. If MVPW will no longer have Amanda Serrano to help sell their women's boxing matches as a main event attraction, Alicia's got to step into that role. She's got to step up.
Tu papá explicaba que ya por el momento en el que se encuentra Saúl Canelo Álvarez va a ser muy difícil que veamos esa pelea. ¿Fue el principal enemigo el tiempo para que se diera esta pelea o fue más el tema de que nunca aceptó Saúl?
La verdad, no sé, porque esta pelea, y si tú te piensas de todas las peleas de boxeo, es la pelea más grande. No nomás por los nombres, porque los dos tenemos mucho talento, peleamos con mucho corazón, esa puede ser una de las peleas más mejores de la historia del boxeo. La razón que no pasó, no sé. Yo estaba listo, yo todavía puedo ser semi-completo, 175, él peleó como 2 o 3 veces allí. Y si quiere hacer la pelea, yo me puedo bajar ese peso. Él está diciendo que es imposible que no puedo bajar, pero yo puedo bajar. Y si quieren esa pelea, yo estoy 100% listo para dar esta pelea, pero ya como que me está frustrando. Cada vez que yo hago algo, o gano un cinturón, gano una pelea, Canelo está allí, el nombre de Canelo. Ya les dije, no puedo hacer nada, yo no puedo hacer nada ahí. Yo quiero esa pelea también, como ustedes quieren la pelea, no se puede hacer.
For those non-Spanish-speaking fans who may not have understood what David said, he said if Canelo wants to make that fight, I'll come back down to 175. He's saying it's impossible for me to go back down, but I can go down. And that's the part you want to pay attention to.
He's still insistent that he can get down to light heavyweight, but then why did he propose a catchweight for the Dimitri Bivol fight? If you can go back down, then just go back down. Go defend your WBC title. You said you wanted to fight Artur Beterbiev.
Wasn't even that long ago. He said he wants to fight Dimitri Bivol. He wants to fight Artur Beterbiev. At the moment, Dimitri Bivol is busy. He's got to fight Michael Eifert, and then the WBO wants him to fight Callum Smith. So while he's all tied up with that, if you can get back down to 175, take care of Artur.
People would pay to see that. I'd pay to see that. Now might be an opportune time to take care of Artur because he hasn't fought in over a year. He's still coming off the loss to Dimitri Bivol.
Hasn't taken a fight in the interim, isn't getting any younger. I saw some recent training footage of Artur that he's back in the gym, but he's not getting any younger or any more active, so now would be the best time for David to return to light heavyweight if he really can and take that guy on.
I don't actually expect him to.
So that's why you want to focus on what he said. If you can still make 175 for a Canelo fight that isn't going to happen, then you should make it for the ones that can. The Bivol fight, the Beterbiev fight, because in the cruiserweight division, there's not much up there.
There ain't too many pay-per-views to sell.
They don't seem to be in a hurry to fight Jayo Pataya, which is the only fight that passes for a money fight in the cruiserweight division. Guys like Chris Billum-Smith and Ryan Rozicki, not that those are money fights because they're not and they never were, but they're not options for David either because those guys have migrated over to Zuffa.
There's not a lot of guys at cruiserweight right now that David can fight them and sell you a $75 and $80 pay-per-view.
No, not right now and perhaps not later. So if he actually can get down to 175, if he can still do it, then just do it and stop talking about it. Go back down.
There are at least 2 pay-per-views in the light heavyweight division that you can sell. You can sell a Beterbiev fight, and you can sell a Bivol fight afterwards. Then after that, if you beat the both of them, then you go back up to cruiser. Then you settle up with Jai.
Do you think that he can beat the both of them?
No, I don't. Because I don't think that David Benavidez can get back down to that weight, match fit, and able to fight. Not after having fought as a cruiserweight. If you tried to make it now, you'd kill yourself getting down there.
How many times do I gotta tell you? Roy Jones Jr.'s descent from heavyweight back down to light heavy, or Chad Dawson's descent from light heavy down to super middle.
Those guys weren't the same when they decided to move down.
So why does the boxing media today think that it's going to be any different for David Benavidez, who you can see plain as day, he's walking around in between fights, 2 and change.
To get down to light heavy, he would have to cut upwards of 40, 50 pounds?
It is a common sense argument that any seasoned boxing scribe should be able to make. The likelihood of David making it back down to light heavy, for Canelo, for Dimitri, for any of them, is unlikely. He's just talking because he's got a mouth.
Gotta say something.
Pues yo digo la mera verdad, hay que dejar descansar al Canelo. Ya Canelo está en su etapa final. Creo yo que en estos momentos tiene que pelear peleadores ya no muy peligrosos para seguir haciendo, porque al fin del día él ya hizo lo que tuvo que hacer. Creo yo que para hacer lo que hizo Canelo también va a ser muy difícil, porque dejó el estándar muy alto, ¿no? Entonces creo yo que esa pelea con David Benavidez es imposible. No creo que nunca se vaya a dar.
There is a sort of sadness from Team Benavidez in their recent foray with the media. You can see the frustration from David and the lack of answers from his father, because as much as you guys try to make it about Canelo Alvarez,
it's not working, and you're running out of time, and you're running out of options.
You can't let Canelo Alvarez be the reason that you're not fighting in big fights. We've already seen this once before with Demetrius Andrade, who dedicated an inordinate amount of time from 154 to 160, up to 168, to a Canelo fight that he never got.
And while Demetrius was out there wasting time with Canelo on the brain, Canelo or nobody, Canelo was fighting all the people he wasn't fighting.
All the quality fighters and all the quality fights, making all the fucking money, while Demetrius, at the very end of his career, where he is now, has very little to show for it. And David, he's following in his footsteps.
In my previous video, we talked about Forbes' recently published top-earning athletes list, where Canelo Alvarez came in as the top-earning boxer in all of boxing, and number 2 as the highest-earning athlete overall, just behind Cristiano Ronaldo. This smear campaign that David Benavidez and his team have been going on is not having the desired effect.
By sullying his name and dragging it through the mud and trying to apply this would-be pressure on him, you're not really hitting him in the pocket, because he's still making all this fucking money.
Jose Benavidez now claims that Canelo is limited to boxing non-dangerous boxers, non-dangerous fights to sustain. That's what he said.
Canelo is fighting Christian Mobili.
The same Christian Mobili who Jose Benavidez called a beast. A fucking animal. Oh, now he's not nothing, now he's a pushover, now he's not dangerous?
That's a part of the reason the smear campaign isn't working. These guys are never on the same page. What they say doesn't ever make any fucking sense. All they do is make empty promises. If you can, get back down to 175.
Just do it and shut the fuck up already. Because Dimitri's down there. Artur's down there.
Maybe you can't get Canelo in the ring. Maybe the fight is impossible. But those fights can happen, and those should be the fights you go after. The reason he won't?
It's what I've been telling you. He's just talking. He cannot actually get back down to 175.
You know, I said it before the Zurdo Ramirez fight, that Zurdo by himself is not worth what David would be sacrificing by moving up the cruiser, because once he goes up there, he can't come back down. And having not fought Artur, having not fought Dimitri,
I mean, I don't think he ever wanted to fight those guys, which is why he moved up so fast to fight Zurdo.
Generally speaking, there were not that many money fights for David in the light heavyweight division, and even less in the cruiserweight division. So you have to have as many of them as you can while you can, so that if your campaign at light heavyweight ends abruptly, so you can go chase Zurdo?
That's not the flex you think it is.
The somber disposition of David and his father at that recent press conference indicates to me they are now feeling the effects of that move. You moved up to cruiser, and there's not a lot up there, save Jayo Pataya, who you don't want nothing to do with, but that's the only money fight.
So what the fuck are you gonna do?
In men's heavyweight news, Murat Gassiev versus Tony Yoka is now set for July 11th. Gassiev has not boxed since he claimed a secondary WBA title via a 6th-round knockout of Kubrat Pulev in Dubai on December 12th, and now it has been confirmed that the Russian will put the strap on the line for the first time against Yoka. The 34-year-old from Paris has also been out of action since December, but had been expecting to face Lawrence Okoli last month. However, their fight, scheduled for April 25th, was cancelled when Okoli returned an adverse finding following a VADA test in the build-up.
Now Lawrence is stuck dealing with that, and Tony Yoka is stuck dealing with this. I don't like Tony Yoka's chances in this fight,
especially not in Moscow, where it's supposed to go down. Yoka will face another former cruiserweight world champion in the form of Gassiev at Moscow's VTB Arena as the headline fight at the next IBA Pro event. Per a press release from the organization, Gassiev said, Tony Yoka is a tremendous champion, an Olympic gold medalist, a big, strong heavyweight with serious skills. I have huge respect for him. Gassiev, who is currently the ring's number 9 rated heavyweight, had been linked with an August 8th clash against Moses Itelma in London. Yoka is not currently ranked inside the top 10. Whoever wins in Moscow will put themselves in line for a crack at the full WBA title, which will be on the line should Alexander Usyk and Agit Kabayel rubber stamp their mooted summer clash.
The fight between Tony and Murat Gassiev is a sort of direct parallel between Anthony Joshua's fight with Andy Ruiz.
Tony Yoka has to try to do with Murat Gassiev what Anthony Joshua did to Andy Ruiz in what was their second meeting. He's got to stay on his toes, use the jab, stay behind the straight punches, and don't mix it up with this guy on the inside.
But the thing about that is, in the paid ranks, Tony Yoka has not proven himself the same caliber of fighter as Anthony Joshua. He's a gold medalist, like Anthony's a gold medalist in the amateurs, but in the pros, he's come nowhere near achieving what Anthony has achieved. And I don't know that in Moscow, against Gassiev, he can do to him what AJ did to Ruiz. Neutralize him.
Murat Gassiev is a very dangerous puncher, mid-range to inside, so you can't let him get there. When he fought Otto Wallin, Otto had the right idea. He got on the good foot. He used the ring. Move around.
There is a noticeable discrepancy in height between Murat Gassiev and Tony Yoka. Murat is about 6'2", kinda short for a modern heavyweight, whereas Tony stands in at about 6'7", with an 82-inch reach.
And he's got to use every inch of that advantage to his advantage to keep Murat out of the pocket, because the moment he gets there, he can hurt Tony Yoka, who is currently on a 5-fight winning streak after snapping a 3-fight losing streak. Losing consecutive bouts to Martin Bakole, to Carlos Takam, to Riyad Merhi.
I mean, the first two I can understand. Martin's a strong puncher, and Carlos Takam has always been a handful, but Riyad Merhi?
That fucking guy's tiny for a modern heavyweight. He stands in at about 5'11". If you couldn't seal the deal with him, it's a little hard to imagine you're gonna seal the deal with Murat, who is a little bit taller, punches a little bit harder, and will have home field advantage.
Tony's supposed to go through with this and to do what? To move on to face Moses Itelma? They're not doing that guy any favors.
They're not. Because if Murat doesn't get to him, Moses Itelma certainly will. Tony's got a glass jaw.
I don't normally say that about heavyweights, but Tony Yoka is one of the less durable heavyweights I've ever seen. And if Murat doesn't knock him out, Moses will. So he's supposed to go through with all of this.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out.